Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, Mr. Blackout himself, my brother Alex. Alex, how you doing?
Blackout indeed. Indeed. Well, some of
So
us, not all of us, apparently.
that's true. That's true. So for anyone who follows this podcast, you know we're a little bit behind schedule, and there's a good reason for that. It's freaking apparently we got some reverse global warming going on, and for all of you scientists out there, don't explain global warming to me and how I'm wrong or whatever, because I don't know what the fuck it is. All right. I'm a moron when it comes to any climate change shit. I just say it because it's funny. We got some reverse global warming going on here where all of a sudden here in beautiful Katy, Texas, just outside of Houston, we got some snow, we got some freezing rain, we got temperatures down in the teens, and it just shut this city down. It's ridiculous. And I have been fortunate in that I have not been blacked out, but my brother has not been as fortunate. My brother has been blacked out a little bit here and there. Tell us about the blackout, Alex.
Well, look, first of all, to our listeners and viewers, if we're hurrying up through this podcast, it's because my power may go out at any minute during this recording. So it's been an adventure. Look, I don't mind the cold. I really don't mind the cold. I mean, I fucking lived half of my life in New York. Whatever, cold is cold. Um, but the in and out of the of the electricity is just it's very annoying, right? Because just when you think you got it, you don't got it. Phone services has been slow, no internet. We're making the best out of it. It really hasn't been that bad. um it's it could be worse. So I know there's other people out there who probably have it worse, and you
Yeah,
know, it's whatever. It's not that bad.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to say anything because obviously I've had it pretty good. I've had phone service and internet. My electricity hasn't gone out. It's been terrible. I mean, it's been in terms of like compared to normal, my service has been terrible. It's been very spotty. Um, so I really can't complain. But at the same time, like I don't think it's that big a deal. Like I'm sure you've talked to mom and dad. Our parents who are in their 70s and live, about 15 minutes away from me, about 20 minutes away from Alex, they didn't have power for almost 24 hours, and they were fine. It was an inconvenience. They had, they were walking around the house in coats and gloves and hats and stuff. They were trying to stay warm, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't that big deal. The part that sucks is you can't go anywhere, right? Because I mean, I drove a little bit here and there on Monday and Tuesday, but I mean, you don't want to go anywhere because they don't do anything to the road. So there's all kinds of salt, there's all kinds of snow and ice on the road. And B, people here aren't used to driving in the snow or the ice, so they drive like idiots. And then C, no one's going anywhere because everything's shut down, right?
Yeah.
So it's just it's kind of boring at the end of the day. But it looks like we've made it through the worst of it. It's supposed to warm up a little bit here the rest of the week, and we're supposed to finally get up over freezing.
I'll tell you what, man. Houston got some of the worst drivers in the summertime. When it's fucking ice outside and it's snowing, I don't even want to touch the roads. So
Yeah.
I am perfectly fine being stuck here at home. 2 nights ago, we lost power. We had some candles going, and we had taken out some ground beef the night before, and we forgot to cook it. So we put it in the fridge, and it was a pound, right? A pound of ground beef. So I remember that it was there, and you have to cook it. You can only keep it so long after it thaws out.
Right.
So man, I went to work, made 4 patties. I had some charcoal. We went outside. My daughter, my son, My wife, she was a little, she was a little wimpy. She stayed inside, which is cool. But me and my kids, we went outside. We had and so we grilled up 4 burgers, and we had a little, I don't know what you call it, but those little fucking brown things, and you put the log in there, and you light it up. And
A
so we
little,
were out there for like an hour or two,
like a little pit.
just yeah, it's like a little pit, and we were just chilling, like literally chilling, and just making the best out of it. So it was pitch black, like in the backyard, right? Everything was pitch black, no lights, but we had a fire going and we had some food, so it was all good. We made something out of nothing.
Yeah, like it's funny. I think after COVID, we've all become a little bit more resilient, right? We're all a little more, yeah, you got to stay at home. It's just not that big a deal. I think we've become, like, in a way, as wimpy as we are as a society, right? Because we do have it pretty good compared to like other countries and shit. We've kind of gotten tougher since COVID, right? So like being stuck at home, it's just really not that big a deal anymore. You're like, whatever, right? I've been stuck at home for months anyway, right? So it's just not that big a deal. You're kind of like, whatever.
So last night, so the power cut. So yesterday we got the power back at 11 in the morning, and we were fucking jumping for joy. It was like Christmas all over again. And so, and this is before I realized, or I read about that they were doing the rotating blackouts, right?
Right.
So 9:30 comes around and the Brooklyn Nets are about to play the Phoenix Suns. And I'm like, fucking great, man. Like this is perfect, right? Like I don't gotta go to work the next day. I can stay up play, right? Watch the game. Man, as the game is about to start, the lights go out. They
Oh,
blacked us out. And so I'm trying to, so my phone service is really bad, and my right, no Wi-Fi. So I'm trying to like refresh my phone, trying to keep up with the score, and I can't get anything. I can't make phone calls. My texts are going out late. My texts are not going out. I'm receiving texts late. I'm receiving no text. I mean, it's literally no service. You're living like a caveman. And I'm serious, bro.
living like it's
Dude,
1953.
yeah. So I mean, the past 2 nights we've been going to sleep like at 9 o'clock. So I'm in bed, and I guess I knocked out around 10 o'clock, and so I turned my back. I had my back turned to the door, right, to my room, and something woke me up, and it must have been the noise of the microwave and the heater going on and the TV turning on and all that. I turn around and I'm like, oh shit, there's light. So I go out there and I turn everything off, right? And I go back to bed because I'm a little sleepy. Well, once I get back into bed, I'm all of a sudden awake.
Right.
So what do? I get on my phone. I look at my phone, it's 12 o'clock, it's midnight, and there's light, there's Wi-Fi. So I log on, right? To look to see if the Brooklyn Nets won. And the game had just finished, and they came back on this epic 21-point deficit at
Yeah.
halftime, and I missed the great game, and timing was everything. So
Yeah.
and it was really bad.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
it
That's
was
funny.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, this blackout stuff is crazy. Now, I keep like I said, we're through most of it, and I keep hearing about these rolling blackouts, and somehow they haven't hit my neighborhood, or at least my section of the neighborhood. Now I'm waiting. Like we're like constantly charging our phones and stuff here in the house because we're like, there's rolling blackouts. We're gonna get hit sooner or later. So like we're waiting for the power to go out, and we've been
Yeah,
lucky it hasn't. So no complaints here. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
it's crazy. Did you go to the store and buy all the toilet paper or anything like that?
No, I didn't. No, I've gone. The only thing we did was go and put gas. That's about it. I mean, I have no interest in going to any store. unless it's a fast food place to go pick up some food. And even then, I mean that's not going to be open. So
Yeah,
the stores
today
are open, like Walmart next to my house is open, but I have not stepped foot in there.
today there's some stuff open, and I went to the grocery store yesterday just because wanted to pick up something for lunch. But yesterday or day before yesterday, I don't even remember which. I think it was yesterday, and went in there and there was toilet paper. Apparently this power outage and shutdown or whatever, it was not bad enough for people to want to get toilet paper. So there's
Hmm,
plenty of toilet paper at the
interesting.
store. Go figure.
Okay, well, good. Now, this is what I don't get, right? In New York, a snowstorm is coming, and the night before, they're laying down some salt.
Right.
Now, this ice freeze storm, whatever the hell you want to call it, had been known for like about at least a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, why? Like, where's the preparation? You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
just don't get that part.
And
But
the funny thing is, even after it came down, I haven't seen trucks out there, and usually it's sand. Usually you see trucks out there throwing some sand out. I didn't see
yeah,
anything this time. Nothing.
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand that. Like, I mean, yeah, you're right. It was about a week because we've been talking about this. They've been talking about this storm coming for a week, and it gets here, and no one's done anything. It was
Well,
Trump's
look,
fault.
if it's any Texas for you, in a couple days it'll be like 75 degrees and it'll be sunny and people will be at the beach and
It's supposed to be in the 70s early next week, like Monday of next week.
yeah.
So Monday of
Oh,
this week, it got down to 11. Monday of next week, it's going to be in the 70s. So that's Texas weather for you. You know,
yeah, well,
now we can't blame 2020. I guess this is just 2021, man.
yeah, 2021 said hold my beer
I don't know. I still think
to
2020 is
2020.
worse. I mean, granted, we're only halfway through February in 2021. So 2021 has they still have time to make hay, to
Oh yeah.
really be terrible and outdo 2020. But I mean,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
so far it's,
It's been pretty weak.
yeah, it's not, not as, and part of it too, like I said, I think we're tougher now. You know what I mean? Like we're just tougher.
Yeah, it's only hit like one state, right? That blacked out, right? The fucking COVID hit like all 50 states.
The
So,
whole world.
big difference.
It hit the whole world.
Right, the whole world.
Um,
Yeah.
Oklahoma's got it pretty bad too, though. Apparently, they're. I mean, it's really bad up in Oklahoma. They've been, negative digits, and negative temperatures, and I mean, it's been snowing. They got like a foot of snow over the course of a day, so it's been worse up there. But I think it happens a little more frequently up there, so they're kind of used to it, and they probably know how to handle it better than we do.
At the end of the day, I enjoyed the snow because I don't see much snow, and I enjoyed playing out there with my kids,
Go
snowball fights.
go a few
So
snowballs.
fuck yeah, heck yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. Yeah, I did the same thing with my son. I threw some snowballs out there and just enjoyed the cold. Uh,
I told my kids like back in the day in Brooklyn, we used to fucking throw snowballs at cars. We used to hide behind these like we used to go to like the parking lot of like Wallbounds, and they
mhm.
used to plow all the snow right, make like one big hill, man, like 20-foot hill full of
Yeah,
snow, and we used to hide behind there and throw snowballs at the cars. And
yeah. When I was a
fuck,
kid,
it was good ass memories.
and here's the thing, this is dangerous as fuck because I remember one time, some of it had melted, so it had gotten a little slushy. Well, if you pack that snow real good, it becomes basically like a brick.
Ice.
Yeah, it's an ice
Yeah,
brick, right? And
right.
even when it was fluffy, in order to pack, I'd spit in it, right? So I'd spit in it so that it would hold. And I remember one time I was doing the same thing. I was out and about throwing snowballs at cars or whatever as they were going by because it was like target practice, right? And
Yeah.
one of my buddies threw a snowball, and it was ice, right? And it, I mean, absolutely shattered the passenger side door of this poor car. And man, we ran our asses off trying to get away, trying to make sure we didn't get caught. But I mean, I was like, and it's like when you turn the lights on, the cockroaches just scram. Everybody goes in a different direction.
Right.
And you
Heck
hope to
yeah.
God, you hope to God that the guy, if they were gonna chase you, you hope they were chasing the person. I was hoping they chased the person who did it and not me. And I was going in the opposite
Yeah.
direction. Each man for
Yeah.
himself.
Oh yeah, yeah. At that point, you're just running for dear life and hoping that I mean, I've been in that situation where, you got chased and you had to be fast and you learn how to run fast, even if you did it.
You learn how to run fast and cut down driveways and over fences and stuff like that. Yeah, you know what's funny? You can probably relate to this as well. Maybe some of our listeners can, but back in the day when we were kids for Halloween, right? We'd go out and instead of once you got a little bit older, instead of trick or treating, we'd go out and throw eggs and play with shaving cream, right? Well, I
Right.
remember
Yeah.
one time, so we go out in New York, right? In Brooklyn, it's pretty cold by the time you get to October 31st. So we're all wearing jackets
Yeah.
with hoods and stuff. I'll never forget this for as long as I live. There's a bunch of us walking around. We've got eggs all, in all of our pockets and whatnot. And and we probably about 14, 15 years old, but we got one little brother with us who's like, I want to say he's like 10, right? And we're walking around, and cops come walking up to us and like, hey, what are you guys doing or whatever? That someone had snitched that we had been throwing eggs or whatever at cars and whatnot. And by that point, I happened to not have any eggs on me. I had already used my stash, right? So I'm just walking around, and and most of us don't have eggs, right? Because we've thrown them all, right? And a couple you kind of throw away in the bushes or whatever, and you just keep walking. Cop comes up to us and he starts giving us a hard time about, "Hey, you guys out here throwing eggs?" And I'm like, nah, man, I'm not throwing eggs. I don't have any eggs, check me out, whatever. I turn my pockets inside out on my jacket. I'm like, nothing. Well, the youngest kid amongst us, that little brother, had like 3 or 4 eggs in his hood. And the cop came up to him, right? Picked on the littlest kid. Cop was an asshole. He picked on the littlest kid. He's like, "You got eggs on you, whatever?" He's like, "No, no, no." He's like, "Oh, really?" And he pats him on the back real hard, right up, right where the hood is, and busts all those eggs in his hood. And so the cop lets us go, right? But he knew. He actually, most of us didn't have eggs, so he couldn't really do anything to us. But he knew that he busted the little guy, and he just kind of let us go. So we're walking.
Right.
At that point, the cop goes one way, we go the other. We're walking, and that kid's pulling freaking eggshells out of his hood and stuff. He's all pissed off, and of course, we're all laughing at him. But just kind of the stupid things you do as a kid, and yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how we got to eggs in a hood from a snowball fight, but good times.
I'll tell you what, my childhood in New York was, I would definitely go back. I would go back in time and fucking relive it because it was, I mean, aside from not having adult responsibilities, right? Like that alone, I would go back, right? But I
Yeah,
mean, it was just fun. So, I mean,
yeah, it was a
I
good
would
time.
so go back.
Yeah, I've always said that I would go back in a heartbeat. I would go back. So if there's one period of my life that I could live over and over and over again, I would live my 4 years in college. I would live those 4 years on a loop forever. Like I would live those four
Yeah.
years. I mean, it was a good time. It's the perfect. I've always said this: when you go away to college, it's the perfect balance, right? Because you're old enough to have freedom, right? You're at college by yourself, but you're still young enough that you don't have all the responsibilities of having to go to work and pay bills and stuff like that. All you got to do is go to school, which is
Right.
it's a responsibility, but I mean,
and party.
yeah, but I mean, going to school is a responsibility. But at the end of the day, think about it. You're going to school with all of your friends. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not like a real tough responsibility. When you go to work, you got to work with some assholes sometimes. You know what I mean? But in
right,
school, you're going
right.
to classes with your friends or your frat brothers or whatever. It's a good time. So to me, that 4 year period of my life, that's the most fun I think I've ever had. I would do it over and over again. But you're right. Even our childhood back in Brooklyn, I would do that again too. That was a good time.
Fuck yeah.
Crazy. Hey, you know who's having a good time right now? The
Who's that?
Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are having a
Yeah,
good
they
time.
are.
Let me tell you something. So I've been all into football. I've been watching basketball, but I kind of don't get real into basketball until football season ends. But I've been paying attention to a few things here and there, and of course, the Harden trade, the Harden wanting out of Houston was the big story that I was following, even with football going on, right? Because
Right,
because Harden was here in Houston. B, I happen to like James Harden. I think his game is just crazy, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I enjoy watching it. He's kind of nutty, and because he wanted out, and he wanted out to like I thought from the jump to Brooklyn, which I thought would have made Brooklyn very very good. And now that he's there, the Brooklyn Nets are must watch TV, and I'll tell you why.
yeah,
B, it's I mean they are the quintessential all gas no brakes, right?
right,
They're
right,
like they're like a 10 speed going down the hill and ain't got no brakes. And you don't know if you're going to get to the bottom really fast and then ride off into the sunset, in this case win an NBA championship, or you're going to ride down so fast that you're going to crash and break your neck, right? That's what the
right.
Brooklyn Nets are. Must watch TV. Uh, Obviously, James Harden brings a scoring mentality that is unique, and that team, as presently constructed and healthy, i.e., Kyrie and Durant on the court, you feel like they can score 150 points every night.
Yeah, pretty
But
much.
but with oh shit, we just got a little flicker. Uh, but on the other side, you feel like they can give up 149 every night too. So
That's
they
okay then. They win. They still win.
Yeah, exactly. So it is a hell of a lot of fun to watch. I'm very curious. The East is becoming a lot more interesting, not just because of James Harden moving over to the East, but just in general. The East is got a lot of cool storylines. I know you're a Nets fan, but aside from the Nets, what's your favorite storyline going on in the East right now?
Oh man, in the East, uh, I don't know of a storyline. I really think this is a two-team conference right now, and at the end there'll be a two-team. I don't really. I'm not sold on these other teams. Milwaukee, Boston, Pacers, Knicks, Raptors, Hornets. I don't think those guys have anything for Brooklyn or the 76ers.
I think the top four is must watch TV. I think all four of them up at the top are good, and if they get hot and they fix some of their issues along the way, uh, they're gonna be in it, right? I think the Sixers and the Nets are I don't I kind of want to say head and shoulders, but I don't know that I would exactly say head and shoulders, right? The the Sixers are good, but you've got Embiid who doesn't play every game, could get hurt. Simmons, who is I can't make heads or tails out of Simmons, and so you
Simmons
kind
is
of
good,
wonder
bro.
about, huh?
I really like Simmons. I don't care about the shooting because they have enough shooters.
Right?
That guy, that guy is a playmaker, and he's fucking playing defense. He doesn't have to shoot any times. They got enough shooters. I think he's great.
Yeah, he's got to pass the ball. The more he shoots, the worse it
But
gets.
that's what he does. He's a
Yeah.
point forward.
Yeah.
You know what he is? You know what he is? He is and he is an undersized, non-shooting LeBron James. That's what he is. He's a playmaker. I'm
Yeah.
serious. He
Yeah.
is
No,
a
no.
playmaker.
You're right. You're right.
He
The
does it
less he
all.
shoots, the better it is.
Right.
The less he shoots, the better it is for the Sixers. But they're interesting. The Nets are great. The Nets are incredibly interesting. Those three guys together, and how they gel, they could ride those three all the way to an NBA title. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because look, I think with Brooklyn, I think everybody's outside of Brooklyn, outside of the Nets, are panicking, right? Because one game all three will play, the next game only two of them will play, the next game only one of them will play, and Kyrie's sitting out and he wants to go on vacation and he's a head case and then he should retire. And Durant, now he's resting his hamstring, his Achilles. Those guys have only played like 6 or 7 games together.
Yep.
It's still so early in the season, and as much as they have struggled, they have beaten the Sixers, they have beaten the Bucks, they have
Yeah.
beaten the Pacers, they have beaten the Celtics, they have beaten the Jazz, they have beat the Nuggets. Like they beat the Suns. They play the Lakers on Thursday night. So it's like they beat
Yeah.
all those teams, and they're not even the rest of, aside from the big three. I don't think those other guys, their roles are defined. And I think as the season goes along, their roles will become more definitive, and they're just gonna gel. And yeah, their defense is not good, but you know what? Offense in the NBA in 2021 is king.
Yeah.
And I don't know that a good defensive team can stop. It's very similar to what we saw with the Golden State Warriors.
Yes. I was just about to say that.
Like they didn't have to play defense. They had two of the best shooters in the league.
Yep. Yeah.
And so it's like
That's the thing, right? I mean, it's a problem for most teams. Giving up 120 points a game is a problem, right? It's a real issue. But when you have the kind of offensive firepower that the Nets have, where you're going to score 125 a game, it's really not that big a deal, right? I mean, it's kind of, and if you get into a track meet with them, and you get into a 3-point shooting contest with them, or just a shooting contest with them, they're going to be hard to beat. And it's going to take a team in a 7-game series. It's going to take a team's dedicated effort to slow the game down to a ridiculous level to stop them from scoring the way they do. But if you get into any kind of up and down the floor shooting contest with them, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. You're going to score 120, but they're going to score 125, and you're going to lose.
Right.
So it is incredibly interesting. The Bucks, I throw the Bucks in there as in the top 4, right? They're in the top 4. I'm not throwing them in there, but I still think they're interesting. They still have a team that has gone to the Eastern Conference Finals, a team that is pretty darn good. It still has probably the best player in the league. They're struggling right now. I think they've lost like 4 straight. They need to figure some things out, but we know they've got capabilities to be a real thorn in the side of any opponent in the East. That's why I keep them in there. And finally, the Celtics, and this may be my own personal bias. I'm a big fan of Jason Tatum. I'm a big fan of Brad Stevens, and I'm a big fan of just that team in general. And so I think that they can find ways to be effective. They can find ways to win games. And ultimately, again, they're going to be a problem if they get into a 7-game series with the Sixers or with the Bucks or even with the Nets. They're going to make it difficult. And they could conceivably win that series. After that, yeah, I'm with you. I don't. There's no one else in the East that that I think really belongs in the conversation. I will tell you, as a New Yorker, I like seeing the Knicks in a playoff spot, just because I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah, yeah, no shit. Yeah, all of New York hasn't seen it in a while.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not overblown by the Celtics. They've been they don't have Marcus Smart, and Jason Tatum sounds like he really hasn't gotten back to normal after having COVID. That seems to be an issue
yeah,
with just athletes in general, right? You know, in
hmm,
football, right? Just not having their breathing right after coming back from COVID. But I don't honestly. It's going to be a real boring Eastern Conference as we move along because I don't think even the Bucks. I just don't see them messing with the Sixers or the Nets, to be honest with you. The one team in the East that I'm really, I look forward to watching the rest of the season and next season is the Charlotte Hornets. I think LaMelo Ball is doing. I mean, he's in Rookie of the Year conversations, and the
absolutely.
Hornets are kind of like the Nets. They don't play a lot of defense, but their offense is a showcase right now. And I think I mean they're the eighth seed in the East. I
Yeah.
don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but I think those guys that are with the Hornets are happy to be playing alongside LaMelo, and I think that says a lot about the kid, and he's fucking balling.
Yeah. Through 25, 30 games, however many games we're into the season, he does look, I mean, he looks like he belongs, right? Like he looks the part
Yeah,
of an NBA
yeah.
player. He looks the part of, you know, being part of a big three somewhere, right? Like he looks like he could be a real team leader. And this is going to sound ridiculous, right? But he's balling, and not just because of his last name, right? He's
Yeah.
absolutely balling. I like what I see there, and I agree with you. I think it's going to be fun to watch him through the rest of the season and whatnot. Uh, Out west, you got the Jazz who are on a crazy win streak, right? They've won
Yeah.
19 out of 20, which is kind of unheard of. They've actually got a 1.5 game lead over the Lakers. Look, I think that Jazz team is pretty damn good. Uh, I don't know if they're the best team in the West, right? I kind of find it hard to believe that they're better than the Lakers and the Clippers,
Record says so.
but I mean, and here's the thing about the Jazz, that team has been playing together for a while, right? And defensively, they are very, very good. They will keep themselves in ball games no matter what, no matter who they're playing. They're going to be in the game because they're very good defensively. And, they've got an inside outside threat. Uh, they're just a good team. And, Quinn Snyder's a hell of a coach, man. I think he's one of the more underrated coaches in the NBA. Again, I don't know if they're the best team in the West, but they're certainly going to be in the conversation for the Western Conference Finals. And once you get to a 7-game series with the Jazz, it's no joke, man. It's tough business at that point.
Yeah, well, the thing about the Jazz is, like you said, their defense is top two. Believe it or not, the Knicks are the other team that have a top defense in the NBA. I think the Jazz are legit now that they are going to the NBA Finals. They're not going to the NBA Finals, but they are legit contenders. Like they will put up a fight against the Lakers, the Clippers, the Blazers, the Suns. Uh, they got a pretty good bench, man. The bench, like Jordan Clarkson's like going off for that
Yeah.
team. And here's another thing. The Jazz are one of the teams that are allowing fans. And those fans can be a wild bunch for, opposing teams when they come play at Utah. So that is definitely a beneficial to them. I think they got a leg up on. I mean, I know it's not a sellout crowd, right? It's only like 4,000, 5,000 people, but still, it's an advantage that they have. So
A little bit of
like
home,
against like a team like the Lakers who are not allowing fans at the stadium. You know what I
a,
mean?
a little bit of home court advantage that other teams are not getting, right?
Right.
Um, what do you make of the Trailblazers? Every time I look at the standings and I see them there at 4, I'm kind of confused because I don't think they're that good, but their record says they're 17-10 and they're the 4th seed right now. Uh, is this just all smoke and mirrors and they're going to fade towards the end of the season and then be a first round and out, or is this for real?
No, I think they could definitely lock up that 4 seed. I really, and I think it says a lot about Dame Lillard. I mean, they got their center. I forget his name. You
Jurkovic,
whatever. One of their yeah, their center's out. McCollum has been out. So Lillard has been really carrying the load. Carmelo Anthony has been playing pretty well
isn't
these
that
past few
something?
games.
Isn't that something
Yeah.
that guy
So
is playing well at that age and considering his
yeah,
career? It's amazing that he's still around and being really productive.
yeah, yeah. So I have Lillard in my top 5 in MVP. Just because he's been carrying the load and they've been they've been holding on to that 4 seed. So and once they get McCollum, I think they're gonna be just as good, if not a little better, right?
Right?
So
Yeah.
they should be able to hold on to that 4 spot.
A team I really like out in the West that, are probably flying a little under the radar just because they haven't been very good in recent years. The Phoenix Suns. Amazingly, Chris Paul is still doing the damn thing. I thought that guy was on the decline like 5 years ago, and yet here he is still
Yeah.
playing at a I won't say quite at an MVP level, but certainly at an all-star level. He's doing a hell of a job for that team. And that's a young team that needs that kind of experienced hand running the show. You got Booker, you got Aiton, who's improved quite a bit. It should be, that team looks really good on the court here early in the season. And I think they can make waves into the playoffs. I don't know that they're going to be NBA Finals contenders, but this is a growing, maturing process for them, and they're fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. They that's another team that plays pretty decent defense. And I mean, we know what Booker can do, right? Booker can put up points, and now they have a point guard, a general that can kind of slow the pace down if they need it,
Yeah.
right? They could get others involved and stuff. So yeah, I mean they are playing a really good ball right now.
Who else interests you out west?
Oh man, nobody's talking about the Clippers, and they still have the best, in my opinion, the best two-way player in the NBA in Kawhi Leonard, and they've been holding their own without Paul George here. And for all the shit that Paul George took last year at the bubble, before he got hurt, he was having a pretty good season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they've been a little banged up, but I think having Kawhi Leonard helps a lot once everybody gets healthy again. And obviously the Lakers are most of the talk of LA, right? You got the Jazz who are playing great basketball. You got the Blazers who are hanging in there. You got the Suns who are, kind of like the surprise team. So the Clippers are getting overshadowed a little bit, in my opinion, which may be good for that team, right? That
Yeah.
may ease off the pressure a little bit on not rookie head coach, but on first-year head coach with the Clippers, Tyronn Lue. So watch out for the Clippers. Don't be shocked if they sneak up there and become the 1 or the 2 seed later on in the season.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think the lack of attention is actually probably pretty good for them, but you're right. They've been very banged up, and yet they're still only two and a half games out, sitting in there at the 3 seed.
Yeah.
So, once they get all their pieces back together, hopefully they can make a run. I'll tell you who I'm a little surprised at so far this season is the Denver Nuggets. I know that, the last image we had of them in 2020 was in the bubble and their great playoff run and whatnot. Um, and so I guess maybe I expected a little bit more. And I think they're experiencing a little bit of a hangover now, at least at the start of the season from last year. But I expect them to, you know, get better, make it into the playoffs, and likely be at a higher spot than they are right now. I mean, they're sitting at 7 right now. But again, let me tell you that's a team that probably no one wants to play come playoff time.
Yeah, I think Jokic and Jamal Murray need some help, and I don't think they have that supporting cast. You know, Jokic is good, and he's going to put up numbers, but I think they need more than just those two guys. And I don't know if they have support from the rest of the team that can, you know, that third wheel. It doesn't have to be a star, but somebody that's reliable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, look at the Lakers, right? The Lakers have LeBron and they have Anthony Davis, and then they picked up Schroeder, who's playing really well for them. They
Mm-hmm.
got Kuzma, who's playing really well. Who's that third guy that's going to step up for the Nuggets and, you know, clean up on the glass or get those points that they need? And I don't know that they have that. So that's why maybe they're lagging a little bit here early on. I mean, that's 15 and 12. They're in the number 7 seed, but I mean, they may move up a couple spots, but I don't know if they have enough to go deep into the playoffs, especially with the Jazz playing so well. You got the Lakers, Clippers. So
Yeah. It's funny out what, it's another NBA season. And again, you've got the top 8 in the West with a winning record, only 4 teams in the East with a winning record. It's, you have this disparity every year. It's amazing to me.
yeah, it looks very similar, right?
Yeah. Well,
What do you think? What do you think about the NBA playing the All-Star game, having an All-Star weekend?
um, I don't have a problem with it. Look, at the end of the day, the NBA is a business, right? And the All-Star game is a big source of revenue for them. And it's not so much the arena, it's the TV part of it, right? So they want to pick
Yep.
up that TV money. And I don't blame them. So I don't have a problem with it. On the flip side, I understand the players, right? They don't want to take any more risk or any additional risk. Hey, you don't want to go, don't go. Right? I mean, that's your choice.
Well, they almost don't have a choice because they get fined, I think, for not going if they get
Really?
voted in. Yeah.
Really? Well,
Yeah,
see now,
really.
okay, so now I have a problem with it because you
I
can't.
was shocked at that too.
Now I have a problem with it. You can't put restrictions on them when they're on the road and they can't leave the hotel and this and the other thing, and then make them travel for an exhibition game.
Right.
Right? You can't do it in the middle of the season. You can't do that. So now, if that's true, and I believe you, now I'm completely on the side of the players because
Yeah.
it's crazy. Look, you put me in a bubble for 55 days last year, right? And I was willing to do it. I bit the bullet for the good of the league and the good of the game. And yeah, the good of my own career, right? There was something, Jimmy Butler got something out of being in the bubble. I get it. But now this season, you're going to make me play basically a full schedule, but you're going to limit where I can move and what I can do. And you got me under all these freaking rules of what I can and cannot do. But then you're going to make me go to an exhibition game in the middle of the season. That's wrong. That to me is wrong. That's crazy.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think John Morant sounded off a little earlier in the season. And he wasn't really, forgot what I'm trying to look it up. But yeah, I mean, there was a few that had a choice of words, and when I heard that they get fined for not going, I'm like, well, what the fuck? I mean, look, at least this year, just waive it, right? Don't fine them this year if they don't want to.
Yeah.
If they don't want to participate. I mean,
Yeah, this year you should not find people who do not want to participate in an exhibition game in the middle of the season. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna have to travel somewhere to play this game, and you're gonna put me on all these restrictions on what I can and can't do, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna let me leave the hotel. You're not gonna let me have guests over. I can't go to the strip club. I mean, what that's no, that's crazy. And on top of that, if I don't go, you're gonna find me. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's absolutely ridiculous. But
Yeah, I agree.
and I understand why the NBA wants to have their All-Star game, right? Again, it's a revenue thing. I get it. Everyone's they're feeling the pinch in terms of revenue, so I completely get it. But sometimes you gotta ease up on some things in order to get what you want. So you got anything else on the NBA you want to talk about?
Who's your MVP right now?
That's tough. It's early. James Harden.
James Harden.
I'm kidding. I love giving you a hard time about James Harden. I find it very ironic that now you have to root for him.
Yeah, well, I always said regular season James Harden is a little different than playoff James Harden. Although I will say this, it's a different type of role that he has now with the Brooklyn Nets. So
yeah,
he doesn't have to chuck up 40 times.
For sure.
It's definitely different. You know what I mean? But I'll wait till the playoffs. I need to see. I already know what regular season James Harden is about. I already know what he can do. I need to see it in the playoffs. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens with that. For me, MVP is LeBron James right now. I think what he's doing at age 36 is fucking incredible. Anthony Davis is not 100%. He's got, his team is sitting at the number 2 seed. So I think LeBron putting up the numbers that he's putting up is fucking amazing, if you ask me.
Yeah, LeBron
it's between him and Joel Embiid, really. I think
LeBron is something else. And I mean, I know, I don't want to get into the whole greatest of all time discussion, but he's certainly, just an incredible athlete. I mean, he's just an incredible athlete. His basketball IQ gets better and better all the time. He's in phenomenal shape. He's a guy who really takes care of himself. I mean, it's just, what can you say about the guy? I mean, he's just incredible.
It's crazy. LeBron's been on the injury report every single day, yet he hasn't missed a game. Incredible.
Yeah. Well, he does it all, man.
Yeah, I mean, either you give it to him or Joel Embiid. I mean, Embiid's having a great season. The only thing that's might stop Embiid from getting it is he doesn't play every game.
Right.
So,
how many games has he missed out of the 30 games that they've played? He's missed.
I don't know, maybe 4 or 5.
That's not too bad.
No.
Well, if you hold on, let me look here real quick. So they've played 28 games. And he has. Hold on. Don't you hate it when you go to ESPN and automatically plays the stupid video that they have? So he's played in 22 games out of 28. So he's missed 6 games. That would be about 4. That would mean he would miss about 14 games for the season. That's probably too much. Right. If he only plays 58.
Well, remember, they're playing 72 games this season.
Right. So you figure 6 out of 30, that's 12 out of 60. That's about another 2 out of those last 12. So that would be 14 games. That would mean he would only play 58 out of 72 games. Yeah, that's probably not going to be enough if LeBron plays, 71 games.
But if he's putting up these crazy numbers, I mean, because I think right now he's got better numbers than LeBron does. So if the numbers are are glaring, are better than LeBron's.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's averaging 29.6 points a game, shooting 54% from the field, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, a block. I mean, it's only in all
And got his team.
he's doing that in 32 minutes a game. So, I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Let's just out of curiosity, let's see what LeBron's numbers are.
I think LeBron's around 25, 7 and 7, which is still amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy, especially when you consider how old he is, right? I mean, I hate to keep going back to that, but yeah, 26 points a game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists.
Damn.
35 minutes a game, and he has not missed a game.
Right.
Yeah, I think if Embiid, if the numbers stay the same and Embiid plays 58 games compared to LeBron's 72, I think you got to give it to LeBron. That's just one man's opinion. It'll be close, though.
I think there's no way LeBron plays all 72.
Yeah,
but he'll play close to it.
Yeah, he'll probably play 70. They'll probably rest him a couple of games towards the end.
Yeah.
But still, pretty impressive. All right, man. There's our first podcast going into the NBA season. Hey, are you going to stay up tonight and watch Serena Williams against Naomi Osaka at the Australian Open?
No.
Bro, listen, I know you're not a big tennis fan. You should stay up and watch that tennis match. That's going to be the best tennis match of the Australian Open. It's going to be good. You'll enjoy it. Trust me.
I don't care about tennis. No, I will not be watching. I may not have no freaking electricity. How the hell you want me to watch?
No, I'm saying if you have electricity. If you don't have electricity,
I will not be watching.
If you don't have electricity, don't watch it. Hey, if you don't have electricity, don't watch it. It's not for you.
If I have electricity, I will not watch it.
If you have electricity,
no, I won't be.
Absolutely should watch it.
I'll pass. Hard pass.
I can't believe you don't get into these. When you like, for me, when I see a great matchup, I don't care what sport it is. When I see a great matchup, I want to watch it. And this is a great matchup.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, no.
If they had the 2 fastest cockroaches ever racing around a track, I would watch it.
I may watch that over tennis.
We have dog racing. Why don't we have cockroach races?
I don't know, because those fuckers are fast.
Yeah, especially you. Like, I could just see it now, right? You put them on the start line, blindfolded, and then you take the blindfolds off, and they're like, "Oh shit, lights!" And they haul ass. You see who wins.
Yeah.
They do those stupid baby races at halftime of basketball games. Why don't they do cockroach races? I'm telling you.
I don't know.
It would be much more entertaining than seeing some little kid drooling on the court. All righty, folks. We've come to the end of another wonderful episode of the Positive Sports Podcast. If you want to get a hold of us here on the show, you can email the show, positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of my brother, Alex, how do they do that?
On Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho 1.
And if his electricity is on, he might even respond. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do so on Twitter as well at eMontana21. What can I say, bro? Stay warm, keep the lights on, don't drive anywhere, stay safe. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, we'll be all right. Huh?
Anything else you want to add?
No, man. I'm ready to go get underneath the covers and watch whatever. Enjoy the little bit of electricity I have left.
You can watch the Sixers and Rockets. That's what's on right now.
Oh, sweet. I'll be watching that.
Yeah. And as always, folks, if you're here in Texas, stay warm, stay safe, but more importantly, ignore the negativity, be the positivity.
Peace.